things like that. Tonight we're going to discuss the Olympics. James is going to talk about some of his experience in trying to deal with it in the early stages and coming to the point of this art show and dealing with a lot of the different groups and associations that were to give what they call Aboriginal input, indigenous input, into the Olympics. And it culminated with realizing that it's a compromise to go in there. And then to have a discussion on the imagery that they're creating now, the big show that they're going to be putting up on stage, to say that the relationship between the Canadian government, corporations, between the indigenous peoples is healthy and strong, and that the state of the indigenous peoples is healthy and strong. We just saw today, one of the hook lines they're using now is to create positive images of Native people. And, you know, that's very creative, or that's very insidious, because you don't want to argue with that. You know, it's like, well, yeah, I'm positive images of Native people, but the whole point of the show is make it real, because you also need to show the real image, the real reality, and that the real reality of the history here is pretty real, and is still ongoing, and that as soon as you remove yourself from that stage, with everybody dressed up and dancing and smiling because, you know, they're likely under contract to not say anything negative as a condition of being there. I know the land here with this show has several indigenous artists lined up, and they all will drop out because they were forced by the Olympics to cancel any other event except the ones at the Olympics. Olympics, and you go, oh, it's an opportunity. The world's going to be here. Maybe we can get some other issues up there. Maybe we can sell some art. Maybe we can get some kind of things happening. And so you come in, all ready to go, and you run into reality. And you run into what it really means to do that. And so maybe just tell us a little stories about it.
Hi, my name is Jaden Rathkeeper. I'm of Cree, German, and Swiss descent, born in Thompson, Manitoba. Moved out to British Columbia about 4 years ago to turn my life around. Began carving, immersed in the culture, and came out here to help my mom market her artwork. And she was being taken advantage of by many galleries throughout Canada, and really taken advantage of her. So I wanted to see a stop to that happen. So I got this email, and it says they're looking for First Nations artists who have their artwork displayed at the Four Post Pavilion, which I believe is at Robson Square, where there's one, and another place in Whistler. And so I got the RFP, and I said, okay, well, ask my mom, should we do this? And I said, well, we really need money. It's desperate times. We need to know what we need to do, right? Even though most of my family members, not most of them, almost all of them are dead set against the Olympics, since this is so easy to run and so on and so forth. Unceded territory, they're dead set against it, but I said, whatever, I need money, my family needs money, so we gotta go ahead and do this. So the contract was unbelievable. It was about maybe a 20-page contract, and I'm trying to figure this contract out of my head, not being a lawyer, not being able to afford a lawyer. And I felt absolutely sick when I submitted that RFP. I was so scared. We submitted the Hoostone hearings, we submitted a birch bark lighting, and a benefit saddle box. And what it said in that contract is that they would own the rights to these products, the exclusive rights, I actually, is it against the law for me to say that?
Not my law.
I just don't want to see it anyways. So anyways, it said in the contract that they would own all exclusive rights to those products if they select your product. So I was really scared when I submitted it, and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I didn't want to tell my mom. Like, I didn't want to say anything because I was scared that they were going to actually own the birch bark lightings, right? So yeah, I guess we would be able to sell those products on our own without their permission, and they would have the exclusive rights to sell those products. So in other words, they're stealing our culture, our history, our teachings, our traditions, saying we own them, we're going to sell them, we're going to market them any way we please. And so that was one experience with them.
Resist means we're no organization. I've been involved in organizing opposition to the Olympics for the last few years, since 2007. And maintaining on the Indn.com website. We have organized a campaign with the Olympic Resistance Network as well, which is a coalition of community groups here in the downtown side of East Vancouver. And I just kind of got here, but well, we oppose the Olympics for various reasons, including the huge public debt that's going to be left to the citizens, like estimated $6 billion. The massive police security apparatus that they're putting in place here in the city. The environmental destruction, the homelessness, and the criminalization of the poor that's happening alongside the Olympics. And also one of our main slogans we've used is No Olympics on Stolen Native Land, which is to highlight the colonial history of the province here, the illegal occupation of indigenous lands for which they have no treaties, which they're legally bound to have these treaties in place before they can carry out a settlement or business. But according to the 1763 Royal Proclamation. So we use that slogan, No Olympics on Stolen Native Land, to raise people's consciousness about this, to raise anti-colonial awareness. And it's been very successful for the last couple of years that we've been organizing. We've carried out a number of direct actions that disrupted the ban locks, the ban public events, public ceremonies. And we've pretty much driven them off the streets so that they don't try to hold these types of ceremonies anymore. But they do continue to hold kind of last minute, more secretive events with a lot of security. And we think it's appropriate because they should be exposed or feel the wrath of the people whom they're oppressing, the lives that they're disrupting, the environment that they're destroying. So we think it's appropriate in some ways that they should have security to protect them from the people who they've obviously angered and motivated to carry out resistance against their big plans and that.
The other thing that really bothers me is that they're going to dance our people on stage in their regalia, and some of the people, I'm sure they feel strongly about sharing their teaching, sharing their culture with the world and stuff like that. But a lot of them are sellouts. They're going to go on stage, they're portraying an image to the world that everything's fine, everything's rosy here in Canada. It ain't fine, it ain't rosy. You know, third world conditions that our people live in. There's communities that still don't have running water in Canada. The community where my brothers and sisters were raised, they never got running water until 1997. You know, and it's just. I think that's one of the things that they should be talking about at the Olympics and sharing to the people of the world. We're donating all this money to all of these countries around the world, and we have extreme poverty, there's rapid sexual abuse, rapid drug and alcohol abuse, and all stems back to the effects of the residential schools. So I feel that we should be sharing those things with the world instead of dancing to people on stage and it's rosy and this and that. So, and also I heard that they were forced to sign contracts stating that they won't say nothing against the Canadian government, VANOC, or the Olympic Committee in order to get that to dance on stage.